Hey guys, welcome to a new live show from NZ Pocket Guide. We're here to answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand because we kind of are the experts of traveling in New Zealand. And for the first time ever, we're coming to you in HD. Are you seeing us in HD? If you do, please let us know. Is it much better? Can you finally see all the screen super clearly and everything? We have fiber. We are in HD. I'm really excited about it. Anyway, Laura, why are we the experts of traveling in New Zealand?
Well, this is Robin and I'm Laura, and we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide because it literally has thousands and thousands and thousands of articles to help you plan the perfect trip to New Zealand. Now that, hey, you can start planning your trip to New Zealand
In HD.
In HD. Because the borders are, as of 2022, starting to open throughout the year, with some conditions applied to it, of course. But
we'll cover that. We'll cover that. We have a new segment. We have a whole new segment, so we'll cover all that.
We'll cover all that later. But the point is, you can start planning your trip to New Zealand, which you can do for absolutely free on NZPocketGuide.com. But if you're not really into reading, this is what the NZ Travel Show is all about, which we do every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. And there's a handy link in the description below if you want to know what time that is in your time zone. But the best way to make sure you never miss one of our live shows is to hit the subscribe button, then the notification bell, and we usually put out notifications when our next scheduled live show is coming out.
I definitely did not forget this week. Definitely did not do it last minute. That's okay.
That's okay. You would have got a notification anyway. Right. Yeah. I was just going to say, if you have any questions about travelling in New Zealand, the best place to ask them is in the live chat right now if you are live with us. But if you do miss the live show, you can always put your questions in the comments section of any of our YouTube videos.
Here you go. Okay, so we're going to start with Derek Anderson today. Says, Kia ora and good morning from Chicago. Kia ora, Derek. And he says, so high definition.
Oh, yes, excellent.
Yes, finally, it's in HD. I'm so happy about getting fiber. Anyway, now we can rewind all the way to the top with Nathan. Yes. That says, Kia ora, good morning, Laura and Robin. How are you doing, Nathan? Thank you so much for popping in yet another week. And if you guys don't know, Nathan is a regular on our live session and he lives in the town of Taupo, which is in central North Island. What is Anthony saying?
We also have Anthony saying Morena from Rodeo, California.
Morena!
Lots of emojis. What does Morena mean, Robin?
Morena means good morning in Maori, the local indigenous language.
Good job. Nathan says, just finished watching Biggest Gap Year playlist yesterday afternoon. Wow.
We've established that's about 45 hours worth of videos. So we also established that Nathan has way too much time on his hands.
Well, thank you for the support, Nathan, in watching all those videos. And for those of you that don't know what the Biggest Gap Year playlist is, this is a challenge that Robin and I did a few years ago where we did 365 days of 365 activities all across New Zealand, and we filmed the whole thing, put it on YouTube, and each day is an episode that you can watch on our channel. So, hey, go check it out. We also have Adil with us saying Kia ora, Robin and Laura. Kia ora, Adil.
How are you doing, Adil?
We also have Ashwini saying, hi, planning to settle in...
I think it's just Ashwin.
Ashwin. Oh, it has an I at the end.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, however you pronounce your name, because I'm sure we're probably both pronouncing it wrong, saying, hi, planning to settle in New Zealand, applying job, kindly help. Well, we can kindly point you to one of our videos which talks about how to get a job in New Zealand, what the usual protocol is. So if you want to search on YouTube, Finding Job NZ Pocket Guide, which is our channel, you will find our video which has helped countless others find a job quickly in New Zealand, and that's a good place to start. Otherwise, you can head to nzpocketguide.com and check out the work tab, which we have up on the navigation bar at the top of the website. That has a few information that should help you as well. So yeah, hope that is a good place for you to start, Ashwini. Tamo is with us saying, good evening, Terra Ortust.
Yeah, that's probably how you pronounce it. Yeah. I was reading it too. Beforehand, and I think
I think Tamo has got us to say that before. And,
he's just always like to see us struggle. But yeah, that means good morning. Tamo is in Estonia, which I like. Sorry, I was just sorting out those beautiful frames in the background. I mean, I just want to make sure that it wasn't blinking too much, so now it just should change at a normal regular interval. Okay, so Adil is saying, suggestion for Patreon if we didn't consider it already. Says, since this channel receives so many questions related to immigration, which you both can answer because neither of you are registered immigration advisor, why not invite an immigration advisor from Immigration New Zealand onto this platform on a regular basis, perhaps once a month, to answer all the immigration related queries? So we thought about that. So we wouldn't be able to get somebody from actual Immigration New Zealand, but it would have to be an actual registered immigration advisor, which is somebody which is accredited by Immigration New Zealand. But we wouldn't be able to get anyone from Immigration New Zealand. We thought about it, but on the other hand as well, we really want to make sure that this channel keeps on revolving around traveling in New Zealand, not necessarily immigrating in New Zealand, because there is many other channels that cover that. And our job is mostly to talk about the best thing that there are to do in New Zealand. So we also don't want to stray off too much from that path. So that's why it's always kind of a seesaw already. So we did consider that. And also looking at our Patreon group, we only have about 10 people, so it's not too big. And there is only a couple that actually are considering moving to New Zealand. Pretty much everybody else is just planning a trip to New Zealand, and so that's what we're focusing on. But they do have a lot of time with us on Patreon. We also do an extra live session on which we talk a little bit more freely, since they're private sessions. We talk a little bit more freely even of our own path coming to New Zealand as well. So we still do cover that extensively for them, and they still get a lot of extra content. Start from Zero says, hi NZ Pocket Guide, good evening from here. Please, when is the border opening for temporary work visa holders? I have my 2-year work visa.
So if you currently do still meet the conditions of your work visa, I just had a quick look at the dates for each step for when the borders open. So I think that should apply to you for the 12th of April, when the borders are opening for current temporary work and student visa holders with a valid visa who can still meet their visa requirements. Of course, when it comes to visas and stuff like that, it's usually, a case-by-case basis. So it's always a good idea to head over to Immigration New Zealand or immigration.govt.nz just to reconfirm that also applies to your situation. But just from the information that you've given us, the little information that you've given us, that is what we would think is the date that applies to you.
But again, always confirm with Immigration New Zealand.
Yes.
Clay says, by the way, Clay, did you just get your shot, or does it count as one of them? Like, can I come to New Zealand, or is it just when at the border opening, the question itself? So Clay says, I forgot the selfies. How good does the frame look? HD is cool. Lucky you guys are so dapper that you don't need a makeup artist. How
can you tell we're not wearing makeup?
Yeah, maybe I'm wearing makeup right now. You don't know. So if you guys don't know, this frame right here, this is where we have selfies of all our Patreon supporters. So yeah, if you become a Patreon, you can have your face right here, and Clay's face may appear one day there. Whenever he sends us his selfies. This is Natasha right here. And also, it looks like I need to reframe. This photo already is not really super well framed, and you know it, Natasha. So, but yeah, here's her in full screen right here. Anyway, so yeah, and all the other photos are just kind of random photos of New Zealand that we thought we'd like. We just want to make sure that, we change things around a little bit. It took me over 4 hours. I did it live, actually, to organize all this thing. This week I was live answering your question and just doing that work. It was a nice little hangout. Helen Wilkinson says, good evening from England, Laura and Robin. How are you doing, Laura? Not Laura, Helen.
Helen. Not everyone from England is called Laura.
Nathan says, I watched the first 299 videos during the week, and then I watched the rest, 300 to 365 yesterday afternoon, evening.
Wow.
You watched 65 YouTube videos in an afternoon? I want your life. Can we just trade right here? I definitely want that.
But hey, Nathan, did any of those videos help you with your South Island road trip that you were planning?
Exactly.
Any of the activities that you're like, oh my God, I need to do that? Yeah, let us know.
And Claire says, the word border is used, then I'm having a shoot. So yeah. So if you guys don't know, Claire has been with us for a very long time and has supported us throughout these crazy COVID times, and we came up with the game, or he came up with the game because he wanted to drink. He has a problem, we don't. And he said every time somebody asks about the border, he has to take a shot. And so yeah, he's in New Zealand, so that's 8 a.m. morning shot. That's fun.
Yeah. What's the poll of the day, Robin?
Yes, the poll of the day, because then after we need to do the news. The poll of the day is we finally now in HD, so pretty excited about it. Like now we probably should look pretty good on the big TV, on the big screen and everything. So finally, it's not all blurry and all pixelated and awful. So I just kind of want to know, where are you guys watching us? Are you watching us on the phone, on the laptop, on the TV, on the tablet? Like what's your device of choice? Like how are you enjoying NZ Pocket Guide now in HD? I'd like to know that. So here you go. That's the question of the day.
That's the poll.
All right, guys. So there is some news happening at the moment in New Zealand. There is some travel-related news, and you guys know that we do love covering that. So we will go over the news right now, and that should take us about, let's say, between 7 and 10 minutes. We'll cover all the news that there is to know, and then after we'll get back to answering all your questions. So feel free to put all your questions. In the meantime, boom, and then I think it's this button here. Yeah, I'm so good at it. Oh, I love it. All right, guys, let's do the news. Welcome to New Zealand Travel News, the segment where we go over the news that people looking to travel to or around New Zealand may care about. We are the team behind New Zealand's largest travel guide, NZPocketGuide.com. I am Robin, and this is Laura. And today, we are in HD.
All right, so all our news today comes from Radio New Zealand, also known as RNZ. So starting with our first piece of news, which is entitled The Heaphy Bridge on the Great Walk Irreparable, published on the 22nd of February. The flood-damaged Heaphy Bridge on the Heaphy Track has been written off by structural engineers and cannot be fixed. The 147-metre bridge on the Great Walk was damaged during the torrential rain earlier this month. The shorter Gunner Bridge was also damaged, but engineers say it can be fixed. Parts of the Heaphy Track are open, but the section between the Heaphy Hut and the James Mackay Hut remains closed due to a slip on Mackay Hill. It means access along the full 78-kilometre track will not be possible until further notice. DOC, which is the Department of Conservation, has established a Buller Floods Recovery Project team to coordinate repair work on the Heaphy and other tracks in the region. Its findings will determine what needs to be done safely to reopen the Heaphy for trampers and mountain bikers. Any existing bookings can either be cancelled with a full refund or rearranged.
So yeah, this is one of the great walk of New Zealand, one of the most popular multi-day hike in the country. So it is kind of a big loss for our tourism industry for the foreseeable future, because that's not going to be something that's going to be fixed really quickly. They sent a whole team by helicopter over there to do an assessment, and they did realize that there was extensive work that was needed to be done. But the good news about that is that this is a track which is actually used by a lot of people and generate quite a significant amount of revenue for the Department of Conservation. So there are funds available in order to be able to repair that track, and like many other tracks which are much less profitable for the Department of Conservation. So we do have hopes that the Heaphy Track will be able to reopen maybe before next summer, hopefully before the next busy season, but yeah. Now, as one of the Great Walk is closing, the Heaphy Track sadly for a while, and actually you can still do some sections, but there is another beautiful section of New Zealand which is finally reopening.
Yes, so this is Te Urewera and Lake Waikaremoana to reopen. Te Urewera and Lake Waikaremoana reopened and welcomed back visitors this month. The board of Te Urewera shut the protected area in August when the country went into Alert Level 4 COVID-19 restrictions to protect vulnerable local communities. The decision also gave time to prepare for the arrival of new variants of the virus, including raising vaccination rates. Lake Waikaremoana reopened to visitors on Waitangi Day, and all tracks, huts and campgrounds, including the Great Walk, are open since the 14th of February. Te Urewera Board Chair Tamati Kruger acknowledged those people who had missed out on coming to the area during the closure. However, Kruger asked those visiting Te Urewera to come with respect. In 2014, Te Hoi's homeland, Te Urewera, was acknowledged as an identity and legal entity. The iwi cherishes its roles as hosts and kaitaki, otherwise known as stewards, of a living place. But Kruger said last year some visitors had been destructive and the reopening came with a reminder to Manohiri, otherwise known as visitors, to act responsibly. He asked visitors to plan to pack out what they bring in, to avoid bringing plastic, and to check boats are clean before going into the lake.
Yeah, so Lake Waikamana is actually basically held now by the local iwi, so it's not an area which is held by the Department of Conservation anymore. So they can actually work on two different kind of rules. And due to COVID-19, they basically closed the whole area because there is a lot of remote communities over there with a lot of elders, and they really wanted to take zero risk with COVID. So finally, the place is reopening, and it's a pristine place of New Zealand. And pretty much every time we do some walk in New Zealand, we find some little wrappers a little bit everywhere. Come on, guys, just don't do that. If you do a beautiful walk around the country, don't litter.
Yes.
Okay.
Our final
Next news.
Our final piece of what I think is probably the biggest news of the week is the end of self-isolation. So this week, fully vaccinated New Zealanders and other eligible travellers living in Australia are able to visit or return to New Zealand without staying in MIQ. At 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday the 2nd of March, those travellers will no longer need to self-isolate. Travellers are still required to undertake a rapid antigen test on the day they arrive and on day 5 or 6. Travellers who return a positive RAT must immediately self-isolate, register their results and follow up with a PCR test. From 11:59 p.m. Friday the 4th of March, fully vaccinated New Zealanders and eligible travellers living anywhere in the world can enter New Zealand without staying in MIQ or needing to self-isolate. Due to immigration processes, other non-New Zealanders who are part of Step 2, such as working holiday visa holders and RSE workers, will still be eligible to arrive from Monday the 14th of March, but will not have to self-isolate. Steps 3 and 5 remain in place for now, however, these are being reviewed. MIQ will remain in place for unvaccinated travellers.
Alright, so the thing to keep in mind with this news right here is that self-isolation now is waived for every single stage. So no matter which stage you are going to be in the process of the border reopening, you will not have to stay in self-isolation. That's what the news is. However, the stage reopening is still in place. So if you were on stage 5, you haven't changed stage and you cannot come to New Zealand right now without self-isolation. This hasn't changed. It's just the element which was self-isolation requirement has been waived. For all the other stages, 3, 4, 5, the Prime Minister has stated that they are reviewing if they want to push those dates forward, and therefore opening for those stages earlier in the year. However, nothing has been announced, and that's why we're not speculating about it just yet, because we've been burnt too much with speculation for COVID-19. And finally, self-isolation is being waived, yes. However, MIQ, which is Managed Isolation Quarantine, is still in place for travelers that are not vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, you still have to stay 14 days in MIQ and pay for it.
Okay.
All right, we'd like to finish our news segment with something a little bit more joyful, because usually the news are a bit dreadful and blah, not that fun. So we decide to usually showcase a travel deal of the week. And so this is a travel deal that we find for you guys, and this is a non-sponsored segment. It's just things that we find fun and that can save you money. We have not been paid to talk about this.
Okay, so our travel deal of the week is explore Rotorua's city and lakes with Rotorua Duck Tours. The unique tour in a World War II amphibious vehicle is now only 195 New Zealand dollars for a family ticket. So that's 2 adults and 2 children, saving 75 New Zealand dollars.
Here you go. If you want to do on a duck tour, duck truck tour, you can do that
Cheaper now.
without breaking the bank. Anyway, I thought that was a funny one to finish up with. Alright, so that wraps up this new segment. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to award all our hard work and stay up to date with all our videos. We do have a full videos about the latest border announcement, so you can see us cover that in depth. Plus, check out NZ Pocket Guide for thousands of tips, hidden gems and much more. And if you feel extremely generous, you can join us on Patreon for exclusive perks. In the meantime, bye bye! Alright guys, we are back in the live session. Boom! Here you go, and there's plenty of questions, so we're going to go over pretty much everything.
Starting
to where we were. Oh yeah, we were here. Someone of the video in the Southland did help with the planning for the trip. Yes, that's true. One of our videos in the Southland were help. Actually, quite a lot of the videos for New Zealand's biggest gap year, we did them with the local RTO, which is the regional tourism organizations, and so some people were helping us out along the way, obviously, so we can do as much as we did.
Oh, he was saying like some of the videos did help out with his trip.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I misunderstood the question widely.
Okay,
Helen.
good news, Nathan. Like, we're glad that we're good with that. Some of those videos helped you with planning your trip around the South Island. Helen says, have either of you climbed the Auckland Bridge?
Yeah, I've done the walk where you put a stupid helmet and go all across the bridge. Yeah, it gives you pretty cool vistas of the Auckland Harbour. I've not done the bungee jump yet there, and I probably won't because it's scary. But yeah, I've done that one. It's kind of below. It's pretty much. I mean, it's obviously not accessible for people which are disabled because there is a lot of steps. But aside from that, it's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Have you done it?
I haven't done it,
Okay.
so I can't really comment. But it's also one of those things that I haven't felt really, like,
The need to do.
Yeah, we've done like the skywalk on top of the Sky Tower, which we do have a video of on this channel, and that was pretty awesome. That is a really cool tour. But yeah, haven't done the Auckland Bridge. Perhaps I will get an opportunity to do that in the future.
Riman is saying, hi, any news regarding when they will start visa processing for new visa applicants?
Any news? I don't really think there is much in terms of when Immigration New Zealand they haven't really made announcements for each step for the visa processing. It's going to be one of those cases where you're just going to have to go onto the Immigration New Zealand website, and depending on what visa you're going for, because remember there are many types of visas, and also with the borders reopening in certain stages, you're just going to have to keep going onto the Immigration New Zealand website and refreshing the page of the visa you're trying to apply for until you realise that the quota is opened or it is open for people. Basically, it's just one of those things. Immigration New Zealand doesn't do things very quickly, that's for sure.
All right. Tamo says, why is there no photos in those frames during the news section? I didn't want to add too much distraction because like when I republish the news videos, I don't know if you've ever seen that, but I kind of like put something over like most of those frames, and so if there was like half cut kind of photos moving in the background, I thought that may be really distracting. So I made the executive decision to deal with that in that way. Maybe it's not a good idea, I don't know, but I thought it'd be the right call for now. We'll see. Things may change, you know what I mean? Like, things change all the time.
Clay has quite a funny comment saying HD has its benefits, but maybe its flaws too. You obviously put a frame up and changed your mind, never noticed the holes in the wall before now. Also, is that a bit of fluff on the table on the bottom left?
Okay, so this is a piece of felt. This is what we usually use to put a drink on there. So when you see during the Patreon live session, Laura always gives me a hot drink. We place it on here because then like that, you don't hear that all the time with a microphone, and so that's what we came up with.
It's a handy piece of fluff.
Exactly, it saves your ears. Now for the holes in the wall, there is some here, there is some there, there is holes a little bit everywhere because this has been our studio for quite a while now, and so we have changed the configuration. We used to have octagonal frames all around, so those one were from the octagonal frames. Then we had a really big frame, if you remember, with like a crisscross pattern and that was staying here. So things have changed quite a lot. I usually try to paint over things, but we are out of that specific colors of paint, and
our local hardware store no longer stocks that paint.
Exactly, they no longer stock that paint, and we can't buy a test pot for that color nowhere. Like we don't need to order it from somewhere, but we don't know like which. So we tried like many different stores, and none of them actually are able to send us a test spot. Which I feel like if I'm giving you the name of the color, which I have partially, but I'm giving you the name of the color, I'm showing you what this one is. You could be giving me a $5 test spot, right? It's not that hard, and but no one is able to help us with that. So If you have any ins and outs with some of the hardware shops in New Zealand, we're happy to pay for postage. We need that paint because that definitely into pipes. There's holes everywhere.
Yeah.
In this room here, there's holes everywhere.
Admittedly, I didn't think you would be able to pick up on those.
Oh
holes
yeah, in HD for
on
sure.
the-
I see
yeah?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I knew it. I just didn't have a solution.
Okay, and then Clay says creepy much, as in how much is creeping on our wall over there.
Helen
Yeah.
Wilkinson says, when do you think there will be any update on stage 4 regarding self-isolation? So there already has been some update on stage 4 regarding self-isolation because self-isolation has been waived for stage 4. Again, just to make it really clear, because I do know sometimes it gets really confusing with all those announcements. Self-isolation has been waived for every single stages of the border reopening. However, the date of when those reopening has not changed just yet. So this reopening will still happen on stage 4. What is the date? You have
Stage
it.
4, yes.
So this pending the date, but the reopening for stage 4 will still
July.
open in July 2022.
By July, so it could come forward.
Yeah. So the Prime Minister, during the announcement of waiving self-isolation, has also said that they were looking at moving those dates forward a little bit and maybe opening earlier. So that we don't know just yet. So the date may be pushed earlier, which is good news. But for stage 4, the self-isolation has been waived. Only if you are fully vaccinated, obviously. And fully vaccinated is 2 doses right now. They are currently looking at changing maybe the wording and including the 3rd dose, but same thing, this has not been confirmed just yet. So far, as far as we know right now, fully vaccinated means 2 doses.
I could just maybe read what the health requirements are now without self-isolation, just for a little bit more information. So, as Robin says, there is no more self-isolation, so you don't really need to worry about that. But all travellers entering New Zealand must meet some health requirements, so that includes providing a negative pre-departure test, so a pre-departure COVID test, meeting vaccination requirements, or you need to book into an MIQ spot. So basically, if you're unvaccinated, you need to book into an like a managed isolation and quarantine facility. But if you're vaccinated, you don't. And you need to do 2 rapid antigen tests, so that's the RAT tests, on day either 0 or 1, and then another one on day 5 or 6, and you have to declare your results. And then if you get any positive RAT tests, they must be registered and followed up with a PCR test. So that's now the requirements for coming to New Zealand.
And as we move forward throughout the year, it is highly likely, and again, not official, and we'll cover that when things happen, but it's highly likely that things are going to move toward easing those restrictions and removing more and more restrictions. So we'll see what happens, Helen. But yeah, in the meantime, we're here to plan your trip together. Here you go. That gives us some time. Jaro, which is one of our awesome Patreons, say, hi guys, do you know if the road leading to Fox Glacier reopened? In 2019, the road had been washed away by a landslide, so couldn't drive up to Fox Glacier. Has it reopened?
Yeah, so the actual main road leading... Oh, you mean the one going to the glacier itself? Okay, no, that road hasn't reopened. Because Fox Glacier, the term Fox Glacier refers to either the town or the glacier itself, so that's why there's a bit of confusion there. But yeah, the road up to the glacier itself hasn't reopened. Instead, if people are wanting to see the glacier on foot, you have to now cross the bridge, and there's a little bit of a car park on the opposite side of the river, and then there's about a 2-hour walk from that side, which takes you up to see some views of the Fox Glacier from there. Admittedly, the views there aren't as good as what the walks were showing from the other side of the river that you can no longer access, but it's still another option, and you can still see the glacier on foot if you wish to. More information on that is found on nzpocketguide.com, where we do have an updated article on the walks available at Fox Glacier.
Yeah, so and so the reason why Laura got a little bit confused as well is because the west coast of New Zealand has basically about one road that goes and links all the towns around the west coast, and quite regularly when there is heavy rain there is a lot of wash off on the road, and this is the road that they clean up literally all the time because
Yes.
otherwise you're literally cut off from the world. But the road leading to Fox Glacier itself, like the glacial face of the glacier, they haven't. It will take extensive work to fix that. So I don't know if I don't know if that's ever going to be done. To be quite fair, I think it's going to take a lot of work. Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
But you need budget, commitment, manpower, and we are literally running out pretty much all of that right now in New Zealand due to COVID. So
And it's the likelihood of that road being washed out again because it is quite a hazardous area. It's like if they put a new road in there, what are the chances are that it gets washed away again?
But all I can say, Jero, I know that you're planning on moving to New Zealand. Maybe pack a shovel and move over there, and maybe you can be the one doing it. But yeah, jokes aside, it's a little bit less good. So for Fox Glacier, the best way to make the most out of the glacier is the helicopter ride to actually get good views of the glacier. Because even as Laura mentioned, the 2-hour walk doesn't give you the best views. Just yet. Okay, Hidden Hammock, which is is the newest Patreon in our channel. So whoop whoop
whoop whoop.
What is he saying?
Says good morning team with his signature ninja and punchy hand.
What is Simon having to say?
Simon says, "How is the weather?" Simon says. Simon says, touch your face. Simon says, "How is the weather in New Zealand compared to the UK, please? I have an option to move to Wellington/Auckland but get very bad depressions in winter due to weather. Would I help myself by moving, please?" Okay, for Auckland, it tends to be brighter, sunnier weather in winter than it is in the UK. And also the temperature in Auckland, it doesn't really experience a winter that is too bad. It's like the temperature.
It's very rainy. It's very, very rainy, but it's not as terrible. I feel like if you have bad depression for winter and you are trying to solve that problem by moving to New Zealand, you're neither going to Auckland nor Wellington. You're going to Pahia, which is all the way Northland, because you're going to get better weather. Because in Wellington, no, you're going to get a lot of wind, a lot of rain. It's dreary. It's not great in winter.
Yeah,
right?
no, I would suggest Auckland over Wellington for the weather.
That's for sure.
But comparing it to the UK, I think Auckland, the weather, because in the UK, when it rains, it's usually a constant drizzle that goes on all day. But in New Zealand, the rain is like, it's a quick thing. It typically is like, it's a quick heavy downpour and then usually it stops, then it might start again type thing. So that's more the weather patterns in New Zealand. So I think it would be a little bit of an improvement from the UK. However, it's not going to be sunshine all the time.
Yeah. I don't think that is going to solve your problem of not really having winter, unless you decide to go all the way to Northlands, and at that point you will actually have significantly better weather and something more even throughout the year.
Yeah.
And so that's my gut feeling. Obviously, that's why I was letting you answer.
Yes.
You know the terrible weather of the UK.
I do. So yeah, hopefully that gives you an idea, Simon. We do have. If you want to do a more in-depth comparison of the weather and get some more, more information about the Auckland weather and the Wellington weather, in fact, we do have articles on nzpocketguide.com, which if you search in the search bar of the website, maybe Robin can show us the website.
I get distracted. Clay is
okay, Robin will...
No, I'm putting it now. Side with Laura. Boom.
So Robin will bring up on the screen nzpocketguide.com, which I really suggest you go check out, mainly because a bit of shameless self-promotion right here, because that's our website. But if you go to the search bar and search Auckland weather, for instance, we do have a whole article describing what the weather is like, typical temperatures throughout the seasons, etc., etc.
New Zealand weather right here. For example, you have all month by month, you have all that. And we have an Auckland weather article?
Yeah, we do. We have an Auckland weather article and a Wellington weather article as well. So if you wanted to compare the two.
So I type Auckland weather
and
we'll see what we find.
So hopefully that helps you, Simon. And
Auckland weather and climate. What is the weather like in Auckland? Boom. Up. We're going to close this advertisement.
So
And you can even listen to it in audio, so you don't even have to read it. But you have a whole article about the weather in Auckland right here, so you can compare.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Robin.
You're welcome.
Moving on to our next comments. We have Riemann saying, I meant for student visas. I think, when is the student visas opening, perhaps?
Yeah, so unless you're able to come to New Zealand, Immigration New Zealand is not going to start processing visas. It's as simple as that. It has been their policy for pretty much the entire pandemic. So unless they decide to reopen things, they have decided, but unless they know when it's going to be reopening and they do have the time to sort everything out, then they would start getting people moving. So for now, we just have to wait. It's a waiting game, Riemann, sadly.
Yes, it is. Mohammed says, love from Pakistan.
Hey, thank you very much, Mohammed.
Thanks
love
for joining
back.
us. Clay says, every town seems to have a lookout. What is your favourite / most memorable? I have a weird one came to my mind straight away.
Go for it.
But it's not because the views are great. It's just in Taihape, which is a town everyone passes through on the North Island. It's the gumboot capital of New Zealand, and you'll see there's a big gumboot, which is otherwise known to other people as like Wellington boots, or like
a rainy boot.
Boots
for rainy days.
Yeah,
or farmers' boots.
In New Zealand, they call them gumboots. But anyway, it's there's a gumboot sculpture at the entrance of the town, and just next to that sculpture, there is a little bit of a walkway up to a lookout point. And when you get up there, it's on Mount Stewart, and at the top there is like this big structure, like a big wooden structure for a lookout. Compared to many places in New Zealand, the views aren't great, but for some reason that is the first lookout that came to my mind when you asked that question. So we do have a video on the channel if you want to check out what I'm talking about. If you search Taihape, which is spelled Taihape.
I think Clay knows how to spell
I'm talking to the general audience. If you want to check that out, if you search Taihape NZ Pocket Guide on YouTube, you can check out us going to this amazing lookout. It's really amazing.
Okay, the first one that came to my mind is also another weird one. It's not because the views are fantastic, it's just because it's really weird, and it's in Alexandria. Just because you basically climb all the way to a gigantic clock.
Yeah.
And I just think that the selfie photos from there are kind of fun. And just below you have also plenty of wineries and wine fields and everything. And it's kind of cool. But I just think it's so odd to have just a gigantic clock on there. I mean, like, it's such a tiny town as well. Like, it would literally have been cheaper to buy an actual luxury watch to each of those inhabitants rather than actually build a giant clock over there to operate and maintain over there. I do know that it doesn't make any sense.
I do actually quite like the views from up there though. You get like the rivers by the town.
It's not terrible.
And the vineyards and stuff and mountains around you. The views themselves are actually quite nice.
Same thing, we do have a video on the channel of us checking this one out. But that's the first one that came to my mind.
Yeah.
Okay, Clay was talking about a bit of fluff on the other side, so I couldn't find it. So maybe. Anyway, I don't know. I think it was just mocking us, and it worked. Nathan says, what are your favorite highlights from when you visited the South Islands? It's a hard one. Okay, my favorite, and I say it all the time, swimming with seals in Kaikoura. Seal swim, Kaikoura. You go over there, you swim with the seals. They're super playful in the water. When you see seal on land, they're a little bit terrified of you because they're not great on land. They're much better in the water. So you go in the water, you cannot suck in the water, but the seals are really amazing. So they come and zoom by you and everything. I absolutely love it. So I'll say it's my highlight in the South Island.
So a few things came to my mind just now, and I have one that I don't think I've ever said before because I think this is a very popular opinion, and usually I like to share ideas that are like maybe a bit different.
No one likes to be a hipster.
I usually like to be a hipster, but today I'm going to go with the masses and say Fiordland National Park and Milford Sound and Doubtful Sound. I think the drive to Milford Sound is a very scenic, and it's an incredible drive with lots of little stops that you can do on the way there. Or if you have more time, it's definitely recommended to go to Doubtful Sound instead. Ooh, that's hard to say. Because that's like a much longer day tour where you get to spend more time away from the rest of civilization, and basically the tour and the going around on the boat, the fjord cruise lasts twice as long as the Milford Sound one does, so you kind of get like a lot more of the sort of Fiordland experience there. So that's the one that came to my mind today, but if you ask us that next week, we will probably have different
ask us again
answers.
next week, Nathan. We'll answer something different, I can guarantee it.
Yeah.
Alright, so YouTube tells me to ask you guys if you can hit the like button, please. We have 20 people watching and we only have 9 likes. So YouTube said that people don't like what we're currently making, which is kind of rude. But so make sure you hit that like button. Also, there is a poll in the comments right now asking you guys, where are you watching us at right now? Are you watching on your phone, on your laptop, on your TV, on your tablet? We'd love to know because now we're in HD with plenty of super photos right here. I want to know that. And then we are back to the live chat, and we're having Clay laughing, and he says, "Sing out, and I'll send one up." Well, you know what? I will take you up on the offer. Let's chat over the Facebook messaging item of me being old and Messenger, whatever. Like, you know, when we message on the NZ Pocket Guides stuff.
On the Facebook group. On the
Yes,
Patreon Facebook group.
yes. One of those.
Extreme Talauta is here saying, Morena, Extreme Talauta. We have Clay again saying, I think the most restrictions will be scrapped soon, just not quite yet because they don't want the protesters to think they've succeeded.
Yeah, I mean they may be playing like that because otherwise they will set a precedent if they give in to the protests. So that may make sense. But yeah, some of the restrictions will definitely be lifted. You know, it's still really a pain for a lot of tourists to have to jump through all those steps and things like that. But yeah, more of them are going to be scrapped for sure. Well, we obviously will report when they are scrapped because we like to, you know, do things just as it happened and not like before. Yeah. Helen says, I'm fully vaccinated and I have had the booster. Well, here you go, Helen. You're good to go. All we need now is to plan your trip to New Zealand, which will be a lot of fun to do right here on the channel. Clay saying what?
Clay says, in reference to the new Fox Glacier walk, it's horrible, the alternative route to Fox. The old one, you could basically touch it and you could certainly hear it. The highlight of that sidewalk is the hot springs coming up in places. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Simon says thank you, so stop laughing every time I say Simon says.
I'm a child.
But yeah, you're very welcome, Simon. I'm glad that helped. And Clay says, does any other country have so many capitals? New Zealand seems to have a lot. I imagine, is that something in the US?
Yeah, so that's the first thing that I thought when I actually read your comment. So I was like, yeah, the US have, but usually the US, they brand themselves home of the blah blah blah, you know, insert non-exceptional things like giant rubber ball or, you know,
the largest yard in the country or something.
Very big pumpkin or, you know.
The home of the giant pumpkin.
So you know, usually it's home of the, they don't say world capital of the. I think it's just like a New Zealand way of saying the same thing, to be quite honest. But yeah, so I don't know, the first thing that came to my mind was the US, but I think it's more home of the blah blah blah.
Yeah, maybe the capital is New Zealand's take on the sort of same theme. But I've also wondered that. I've wondered, like, where has this obsession of being the capital of something random come from? Because I guess it's just the Kiwi humour.
Yeah. Right.
Nathan says, thanks for the highlights. You're very welcome, Nathan. And then Clay says, can't go to Doubtful Sound alone like you can in Milford. Yeah, you can't. You have to take, to go to Doubtful Sound, you have to go, basically the only, there might be a couple of companies, but the main company is Real NZ, which takes you first on a boat across Lake Manapuri. Then you have to take one of the most isolated roads in New Zealand they have like a bus, and I think that's probably the only vehicle on that road that takes you down to Doubtful Sound, and then you have about a 2-3 hour boat cruise around Doubtful Sound from there. But there's also other options like kayaking and that sort of thing, or overnight cruises. But yeah, that is, I don't know of anyone that can go alone unless you go in your private yacht or your private helicopter or something. But I mean, who can afford that? So
Clay, obviously.
Clay, obviously, yes.
All right. So Jaro was asking, how expensive are the tours to Doubtful Sound? Sorry. So I just double checked right now to have the most accurate kind of prices. So if you just want to do the day tour to go to Doubtful Sound, that'll be $200 New Zealand dollars, and if you want to do the overnight cruise, that'll be $600 New Zealand dollars to do that. So it's definitely not the cheapest activity to do in New Zealand. And to be quite fair, if you only have a short amount of time, I know, Jaro, you will have an extended period of time, but if any travelers is hesitating between one and the other and only have a short amount of time, I think that, you know, you're okay just doing Milford Sound. The vistas are somewhat similar. And you're okay,
yeah. Clay says, capital of the carrot. I mean, come on, a tiny bit embarrassing, no?
Hey, nobody diss Hoa Kune. They work really hard on their carrots.
Yes. They have a whole vegetable playground there now behind the carrots, so you can see more giant vegetables should you be inclined.
Yep. But yeah, no, they're definitely stretching a lot of they're stretching a lot of their specialties to become a capital of something. I have to be honest.
Yeah.
It's sometimes a little like, mate, you trying way too hard, but it's fun.
How about home of New Zealand's largest or like the capital of New Zealand's largest volcano? But no, they went with carrot.
Yeah. That's true. On top of it, a lot of them actually they come up with something really silly rather than a local natural wonder, which I always find kind of interesting. But yeah.
But yeah. Nathan.
Wait, before Nathan, I need to thank the 4 people that chose to hit the like button. You guys are absolutely awesome. You are all a legend, all 4 of you guys. If you did hit the like button, just make sure you pat yourself on the back. That's nice.
Nathan says, I will ask the same question next week for more highlights from the South Island. Please do. We will strive to give you a different answer every week. If you ask it every week from now on, we will try and answer differently.
If you ask it every week for a month, right? You're gonna get 2 different answers 4 times. That you're gonna get 8 different answers. That's your whole road trip.
Yeah, there you go.
As simple as that. Just ask us the same questions, then you'll realize that we're asking. We're always answering something like, oh yeah, I like this, I like that. We got some spammers. Why do we have so many spammers nowadays? Because we're in HD now. When I was doing the live session, when I was setting up the frames over there was quite a lot of those spammers coming in, which I don't know why, but yeah, that's not nice, people. That's not nice. Go spam elsewhere, for sure. What?
I was just going to say, do you want to talk more about the Patreon?
I'm supposed to do that, don't I? Yes.
A bit of a Patreon segment.
Hey guys, we have plenty of awesome Patreons on the channel, and those Patreons get amazing perks. And if you want to join them and stock up on good karma, well, we'd love you to do so. We'd love to have you on board. We are building a really fun communities of people talking about traveling in New Zealand, supporting each other, bantering around, and all that. So many of the perks include, well, first up, an extra live session. If you enjoy those live sessions, we get an extra 1 hour every single week where it's just us. So it's us was like, usually there's 6-7 people at most, and we just hang out together. It's a lot of fun. We also give you PDF guides that we wrote exclusively for patrons with some of the most hidden gems that we like in New Zealand, for example, our best spot to do a lot of different activities. We also have a secret Facebook group where we all hang out together. We share a lot of content on there for you guys, including first answering all your questions, but also video vlogs and everything when we go to some locations. We also help you a lot with trip plannings and much more. So we have plenty of Patreon. On the producer level, we have Fabio, Tamo, Beverly, and Clay. They are like a super top tier producer extravaganza. And our supporters are Joey, Anthony, David, Natasha, Fantaist, Jarrow, and our latest Patreon, Hidden Hammock. So here you go. If you want to join that group of awesome people, do it. It's fun. Why not? All right, I'm done.
All right, thanks for that, Robin. So, what's coming up on the channel this week?
Okay, so I did give a preview to actually people that watched my 4 hours setting up this studio before. So I'm going to give you a tour of the toilets of Air New Zealand 787 Dreamliner plane. I mean, wow.
Now,
amazing.
If that's not a reason to subscribe,
exactly.
I don't know what is.
I don't know what is. I have no idea what is. For the Patreon, there's something for them, but I'll talk about that afterwards. Well, there's 2 episodes of New Zealand because they appear for sure. There is a new segment coming up as well tomorrow, and yeah, that's already kind of a lot of videos, and then we're already back to the next live session. So here you go, guys. Plenty of extra stuff. I am working on a bunch of like new extra content for you guys from the recent trip that we've did. And yeah.
And are you doing an exclusive video for the Patreons as well? Is that coming out this week or not?
No, I'm just giving them a preview.
A preview.
Yes, but I talk about it within the Patreon.
Okay.
No, just stop spilling beans.
Okay, all right.
Spilling all the beans right here.
Moving on to the live chat. So,
uncontrollable.
Jarrow says, I've already done the Milford Sound overnight tour in 2017, and the best part is that I didn't have to pay because the Kiwi family where I stayed paid for it. Nice.
Hey, that's the best part. Well, maybe then that means you have the spare cash to be able to do that full sound. You didn't pay the first time, but yeah. So if you've already done Milford Sound, then you will kind of know what to expect with that full sound. It's similar vibe. But yeah, if you already done Milford Sound, then at that point that is a good reason to do that full sound. So yeah, definitely worth considering for your trip for sure.
And if anybody wanted to actually compare We do have videos on the channel. I keep saying that quite a lot on this live session, but we do have videos on the channel. We have videos of us doing Doubtful Sound and Milford Sound. Now, the main difference between those videos is in Milford Sound, it was so rainy. So you see Milford Sound with all the waterfalls, but it was a lot of fun. And then you see Doubtful Sound in the sun, which obviously puts the whole fjord in a different light. But they are quite similar in terms of the scenery. But if you want to check out the differences between the experiences and what's included in the cruises, then check out those two videos. We do have them on the channel, so make the most of them.
Nice. All right. What else? Adil say something.
Adil says, please type the name of the lake that has reopened.
Oh, I need you to take a note.
Mentioned in
Yes, I
the
will
travel
do.
news segment. Do you want me to type it or?
No. I need to put it on screen and everything.
Okay, so Robin's going to put it on screen for you, Adil. So just bear with us and we'll get that up. But in the meantime, I'll read the rest of the comments. So we have Clay saying, never been to the toilet on a plane, strangely. Yeah, I mean,
This is why I did that video. There's a lot of people that actually said they
that's
never.
quite interesting. I mean, you do try to avoid it because you usually think like, that's a pain because first of all, toilets in planes are usually really cramped and small, but also at the same time you're like, it's probably going to be pretty dirty, right? But yeah, sometimes, especially for people like us that have originally come from the other side of the world, when we come from Europe. You kind of can't avoid going to the toilet on the plane because the flights are literally like 13 hours, then another 12 hours or something. So yeah, if you're coming from further afield, sometimes, nature calls and you just have to go.
I forgot the other thing I need to write. I
think we have... The next person has the username that maybe will get the award for this week, which is Oh My Glob.
Oh, award of the best name. I don't even know what that person's saying, but yes, I'm back listening. Yes, Oh My Glob, yeah, boom. Award, here's your award. Here. Congratulations. Best nickname of the week. I love it.
So Oh My Glob is asking, hey, when international student border open? Thank you. So this... yeah. So it could be one of two stages depending on what your current situation is as do you already have a student visa or not. So if you do currently have a valid student visa that is still meeting all the conditions, then you should be able to come from what we get from our information is on step 3, which is the 12th of April. Otherwise, if you currently don't have your student visa and you need to apply for one, etc., then you would have to wait until step 5, which is from October 2022.
Make sure to confirm with Immigration New Zealand. We're not registered immigration advisor, and you need to confirm all this information with your immigration advisor at Immigration New Zealand. You can go to immigration.govt.nz and confirm with them. This is just our gut feeling or what we think that is what you are asking, and that is it. Make sure that you are going straight to the source for all your information. Just quick disclaimer right here.
Good tip, Robin.
Okay, Michael Jack says NZ visitor visa is open for visitors. Please ask me. I want visit New Zealand with my family. Ask me, please. Are you open?
Are you open for visitors?
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
So Michael, if you're asking when are the borders open for visitors, so there are two different stages.
Oh, it's going to be stage 5 for him. If he has to get a visitor visa, that means he's not from a visa waiver country. That means stage 5.
So if you do have to physically get yourself a visitor visa, if you're not from one of the countries where you don't have to do that, then yeah. From October 2022 is the most recent dates that are open for people from all over the world, coming from different countries. That is when the borders are going to be most open to people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is what we think for you. But because it is every visa, every person from different nationalities, it is a kind of a case-by-case basis. So you should really go to immigration.govt.nz, which is the Immigration New Zealand website. And from there, you can find out which visa applies to you and your specific situation. And then from there, you'll be able to see when the borders are going to be open for you. So check that out, just in case we haven't got all the right just in case we don't have all the right information from you right now to answer your question.
Immigration.govt.nz.
Yes, very nice. Okay. We have, I just lost it.
Jaro says, your doubtful sound video is amazing. Oh, thank you very much.
Thanks.
It's on YouTube, guys, if you want to watch it. That's lovely. Yeah, it is a cool place to visit, for sure. I have to say, there is a dear place in my heart for our Milford Sound Cruise video, just because it was so rainy and we got so wet to our bones.
But it was so fun.
Yeah, it was just so fun, you know what I mean? So that's the thing that I remember even more than Doubtful Sound, because shooting that video was just so much fun. And to be fair, even like so many visits in Milford Sound, I've been there like at least 5 times, Laura probably 10. And yeah, so we've been to Milford Sound so often, but like the one visit in Milford Sound I remember the most was when we shot that video and we got so wet. I really remember it so vividly because it was just so wet. It was just so fun. What is Nathan saying?
Nathan says, it was funny when everyone was talking about the toilets during the last live stream, Robin.
Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
Anthony says, stay safe, but I'm here till the end.
Look at that.
As always.
Look at that. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button. There's 27 of you and only 16 likes. That means there's 11 of you guys that are watching us and say, I don't like it. Why don't you like us?
Okay.
Be nice.
Clay
says,
how did you feel taking the camera to the toilet and having to chat to it? Was it sneaky or just owned it?
It was just my phone. I literally just was that bored in the plane that I just went to the toilet and then I was like washing my hands and I had my phone by my pocket. I was like, you know what? I'll just do a video here, because also that was the only place where I could remove my mask and I was like, oh, I can breathe a little bit, easily and everything.
You weren't allowed to remove your mask.
In the toilet,
only
yes.
remove your mask if you're eating or drinking, Robin.
Oh my god, I was self-isolating in the toilet. I can't do it if I want to.
You might breathe all over the walls and then someone might come in and, breathe up your germs.
Yeah, so in short, I was just really bored. I was really bored in that plane. It was just, I don't know why, but also because there was literally nobody around as well, so there's no chatter. It was like a really empty plane.
Apparently I wasn't enough company for him.
No. We actually shot some other videos with Laura as well, so they'll come up in the channel as well. But yeah, damn, I was just, so I kind of owned it. I was like, you know what, I'm bored. I took the phone and I just went in there. And then after I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the other one, because I showed 2 of them. I went to the other one. I literally took my phone. I was like, I don't usually anyway feel like social pressure or anything. If I feel like I want to do something, it's something, it's not the wrong thing to do. I just do it. I'm never really self-conscious. Like, it's really like, no matter what we do is always awkward, right? Because we write travel guides everywhere we travel. If we arrive in a restaurant, the first thing that we do when we actually arrive at the table, we set up the tripod with the camera. We do a lot of things really differently.
And we're doing that in front of all other people as well.
So usually we are kind of like the entertainment piece for like a lot of people eating, and they're like, look at those absolute insane tourists and have like 2 tripods and like 3 cameras and doing all those different things and taking like so many photos of their meal. Like, they literally eating cold all the time, but it's because we're here to do those things. Now, if we go to the gas station in a remote country that we're doing a travel guide for, we're gonna take like 30 photos of that gas station, like close up of the hands, all that close up, like all the things which are a little bit different than what most people are used to. We will take photos of it, and people always give us weird looks. And we are absolutely fine with it. I never even think about it twice. So
we have to be fine with it, or else we couldn't do what we do.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of sweet with everything. It doesn't bother me too much.
Yeah, same. Samia says, I want to apply now.
Well, as soon as things are open, you'll be able to apply. However, unless things are open, you won't be able to apply. So it's a patience game right now. We kind of have we have an end game. We have an end point. Like on October, stage 5, everything is reopening. Immigration New Zealand would be back at full speed, which is still really slow. Full speed for Immigration New Zealand is still very slow. I need to find another expression to use.
Yes.
But yeah, so but it, wanting or stomping your foot and wanting to apply now is not going to change anything. We just have to be patient and go with the process, because there is no other way around it.
Nathan says, stay safe, have a great day everyone. See you next week for the fun live stream.
Nice
Thank you for joining us, Nathan. And with that, I think we can wrap the live show up with the results of the poll.
Here you go. Let me just click on end the poll, and while the results are tabulating, again, thanks to all the Patreon supporters right here for helping us make all of this possible. You guys are absolutely awesome. If you want a ton of extra perks, make sure to join them. Other than that, we always answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. If you can't make it to the live session, make sure that you put your comment in the your question in the comment of this video. We'll pick it up for next week and we'll answer your travel questions for New Zealand. The borders are soon to reopen. We have an end lane. Oh, what do you
End
say?
in sight?
Yes, the end is inside. The end
Yeah.
is COVID nonsense is inside. So travel to New Zealand will reopen at some point. So happy times. And yeah, if you are doing a rewatch right now, if usually you don't watch us live and do a rewatch, know that we really do appreciate you. And I hope that you enjoy this rewatch in HD. Yeah, we really appreciate the fact that you are supporting us, even if you cannot make it live. Last couple of comments. We have Jaro says the toilet video is the most anticipated video of the year. Yeah, it looks
Yes.
like it is. It definitely looks like it's going to define my year 2022, and I'm not sure I'm happy with that. Adil says, I'm watching from my phone. Video quality is much better compared to the other live stream. Yeah, thanks to the Patreon, they pulled it together, led by this guy Fabio right here, which keeps on harassing me to join Patreon so we can get fiber. And finally, we have fiber. So awesome time. And so yeah, the poll is phone. 56% of you guys are watching us on phone, 25% on the computer, 10% on tablet, and 7% on TV. And that's 39 people that voted, which is quite cool.
Nice.
Can you read the last comment of the day?
And Hidden Hammock says, wow.
Wow! Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll do another hour right now with the Patreons. And yeah, happy times. Martin, thank you very much for sending us an email. As you know, I'm just gonna say something. Martin, I know I did receive your email. However, on the page where you find my email address, there's a big text in red that says I do not have the right to answer to your email because your question is pertaining to immigration New Zealand. You even included paperwork on there, which are like super private paperwork that you should not include in an email at all. You should never send those paperwork to other people. Please stop doing that. It's bad for you. I just want to take a second to help you, Martin. Martin, you cannot send the entirety of your immigration paperwork to people that you saw for 10 minutes on a video online. Please don't do that for your own safety. Please don't do that. Identity theft is a thing, so don't do that. And also, I cannot reply to your email. There is a big text in red on our contact page on the site that said that if you're asking about immigration, I do not have the right legally to answer to you, and so therefore I will not be able to respond to both of your emails. That doesn't mean I didn't get them. I did get your email. Sadly, I just do not have the right to legally respond to you. So yeah. And Lifestyle UK says, hello, I have a work visa, but I am not come to New Zealand and yeah, I'm not sure. Put your question in the comments and we'll cover it next week for you, mate. All right, have a lovely day. Bye bye, guys.
See you next week at the same time.